and then she mentions that she's a lesbian.
Wait.
Okay? Take turns, like read it. Do you think you got the same thing? And then
What do you
we're
mean?
just awkward.
We were awkward? I wasn't awkward.
Oh no, not you. Just
So, this is the story about how we met. And we first met. What year was it?
11?
2011.
Probably.
Okay. And we were in the same school together. We went to Angela State University. We were all chemistry students. Well, I was pre-pharmacy, pre-med before, and then pre-pharmacy. You were pre-pharmacy, I think, in the beginning.
Just biochem.
Biochem. Okay, so we were in biochemistry class together, and
Yeah, biophys.
Biophysical
chemistry.
And one of my friends had mentioned some guy that I guess talked about you. And I had seen you before. All I know was that Nathan always talked about he had long hair. And I thought you looked so hot with your long hair. I wish you can have long hair again. But long hair, and always had his earphones and his white Apple earphones. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he always like come to class, very quiet, always in his world, his own little world. And your Coke. You always had a Coke bottle with you. You still like Coke. And then in that class, it was a biophys class. We had to share, we ended up sharing a book because this book, I didn't have it because I'm too cheap. And of course you had it. So we had to share a book together. And how did you even feel about that? Did you think?
Well, it was a class where you needed the book.
Yes, you needed the book. I think.
Though everything we did was in the book.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Literally, you sat down, he gave you a paper, and everything was in the book.
Yeah.
And it was me, you, and
Sonia, I think.
Sonia.
Yeah.
And we shared my book.
We shared your book. Anyway.
So we would like take turns, like read it. Do you think you got the same thing? And then we would like be like, yeah, I think I have the same answer.
Yeah. So
and
anyway,
it was hard.
It was a hard,
very, very hard
class. Biophysical, right?
Yeah.
Like molecular stuff. It was building DNAs. It was complicated.
Like the twist of the DNA and like calculating
the distance between the DNAs, right? Some calculation.
I can't remember. Just being awful. That's what I remember.
So anyway, we got close there, but nothing was ever going on. And then we moved on to the other class, which was biochemistry lab, right? It's the biochemistry lab.
No, I wasn't in there with you. It was chemical literature.
Chemlit.
Yeah.
Yes, Chemlit. So in Chemlit, we had a project. It was a big project for school, and it was me, you, and I think a few other of our friends.
Sonia was in our group again.
Sonia, Edgar. We're all in the same group.
So when you say big group, we're talking like a semester-long project. Like you get assigned at the beginning of the semester. You're with those people for the rest of the semester.
Yes, and he was in there, and I was like, hey, still had the long hair. Anyway, so I had a crush on him, but I didn't know how to say it, right? Because I remember, like, it was a problem for me because I was like, well, he's white. Is he going to like me because I'm black?
So, in my defense, to what we'll talk about in a little bit, I had a crush on her first, okay? And then I thought, we hung out, we would do all these group project stuff, and we would be, like, meeting up and putting our paper together, and then we would go out to eat or something.
Yes.
I remember specifically going out to eat at a place called Cheddar's.
Yeah. We're
all there eating together, and I'm thinking, like, this girl's cute, I like her, and then she mentions that she's a lesbian.
Wait.
Okay. Now, I may or may not remember this wrongly, but she made the joke that, like, something, my lesbian friend, or like, I don't know. But she used to hang out with this one girl all the time. And they were, like, together all the time.
Hi, Kara.
Yeah. And so then it clicked to me. I'm like, oh, she's a lesbian. Like, that sucks, right? I missed out. So then I, at that point, stopped thinking about it like that. Just started thinking like a friend, right? We're just in this group. We're friends.
He friend-zoned me. Anyway, so now in my defense, right? Kara is my bestie. We were very, very close. We love food. We love to hang out. We love to have fun. And she was my best friend. So we always walk around, like this together, right? Which friends do that all the time. But for some reason, people always thought we were together, which was so funny. But I love her. She's my bestie. And so I think I may have mentioned something about that when we were eating over there. And that's why he thought, okay, I cannot touch her. But my other friend, Nadi, who I mentioned to that I had a crush on Nathan, was like, I think Nathan likes chocolate. So it's like, oh, and Nadi did the unthinkable. She put a note on your stuff that simply said, Ida likes you. That was it. Just a note. Ida likes you in the middle of his textbook that he was reading, but you had stepped away from studying at that time.
Yeah, so we were in the lab. I don't even know.
You went somewhere. Yeah. And you came back and you saw Ida likes you, which I didn't even know about this.
Well, and I missed a lot of hints on the way. So I remember trying to think. There was one time we were in class, and I used to play like an open mic night at a bar called the Paris Head. It was right next to where Ida lived. And I remember on the way out of class, I'm walking out, and Ida stops me, and she's like, hey, I hear you play at the Paris Head, like the open mics. So I was like, yeah, play there like on Wednesdays. And she's like, oh, that's cool. I live next to the Paris Head. And I was like, cool. And she's like, I like music. And I'm like, well, it's not that great. Not many people go. Yeah, and I'm not very good, so you wouldn't want to go. And then I remember walking away and be like, should I invited her to the Paris Head? And like, I missed that hint. There was a time where we got together at a house to make, the project was about dyes, about natural dyes. So we got together to make dyes for a project at my house. And I remember, because I lived in a house with guys, I was trying to clean up before everyone showed up to my house, especially there's going to be 2 girls in our group. I felt like self-conscious. And Ida shows up 30 minutes early at my house. And I just remember being mad. And like, who shows up 30 minutes early to a group project? Like, who did this? And I was just like, oh, I thought it was 5:30, not 6. I guess we could hang out. And I was like, or I guess, but like, I'm still trying to clean up my house.
Wait. I don't remember that, really.
Yeah.
I should have
I remember that. I remember just being upset. And you're just sitting in my kitchen while I'm like, doing the dishes. But that's why we had to go to elementary school. Someone had to slip me a note because I was just missing it.
Yeah, you missed all the hints. So anyway, so you come back to study in the lab and you see the note says Ida likes you. And I didn't know about this. So my friend told me later, I was like, oh my gosh, you slipped a note in his textbook saying Ida likes you. And what if he doesn't like me back? Like, I was not happy with her. But then I get home and this guy had like every single picture on my Facebook account.
Not every picture.
It was like all the pictures.
I just went back and liked a few.
It was a lot. I think it was all of them.
I'm sure I've liked enough to make it clear that, hey, I got the message.
Instagram. Yeah. So then what happened next? I don't really remember.
Then we got married.
No, we didn't get married. I think after we met up at school, it was a little bit awkward because it was like, eesh. And then we tried to plan a date to see how things was.
I'm sure we started messaging or something.
Yeah.
I remember for a long time I had our original messages on my phone. They didn't delete for a long time. Really? And I remember going back and reading them and just being like, oh, cringy.
What do you mean?
We were just awkward.
We were awkward? I wasn't awkward.
Oh, no, not you. Just me.
But anyway, so our first date, Nathan was like, hey, I'm only a student, we can just have a nice, I guess, relaxing, chill day.
I think I was honest. I was really broke. That was our senior year.
Our senior year.
By your senior year of college, you're broke.
No money.
Broke.
So I was like, hey, I'm gonna make you my famous. Well, it's not famous, but peanut butter soup, right? Because why not? So you came over, and I made peanut butter soup. What did you eat it with? Just by itself?
Yeah, we just ate the soup.
With chicken, what was in it? I can't remember.
It was chicken. Yeah, there was no rice or anything though.
Yeah. So he had my peanut butter soup, and did you like it?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yay.
It was very good. And then we watched.
We got married, so let's.
You remember what we watched?
It was a It
was two awful movies.
Yeah. Oh, what is it called? Is it not Peter Pan? No.
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel.
But it was not like there was two versions of it. We got the crappy one.
The really awful one.
Yeah, it was like a cheap.
It was really bad movie.
Terrible.
That was our first date.
And then the other one, do you remember?
No.
I didn't want to say it's awkward.
Really?
Well,
Django?
Django and Django.
Did I make you want Django?
No, it was just, I don't even know why we got it, but it was like just so awkward. They said the N word like 100 times. I'm like, just look around like, oops.
Sorry. Maybe not a good first date movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not get a kiss on our first date.
Yeah, so on the first date, we're sitting there and we're hanging out. Well, I think we might have been holding hands. We're watching movies on your bed,
my bed,
which served as her couch at the same time. You were in a studio apartment.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Oh man, I'm so tired." She's like, like a big yawn. I'm so tired. And then I thought, oh, that's my hint. I need to go home. Because it was at that point we watched 2 movies. We had a meal. It was probably like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. And so I jump up. I'm like, all right, well, thank you so much. And I give her a hug. And then I left.
Yeah, I did not get a kiss. But, like, you were like a big gentleman. I mean, you still are. Which I love that. It was like new for me, like opening my doors. Just so gentle, like the way he talked to me. And yeah. So I guess soon after we moved to New Hampshire, right?
I mean, yeah, that was senior year. We had some decisions to make.
Yeah.
Not too long after that.
Yeah.
We had essentially until July to figure out what we could do because she was going to pharmacy school.
Yeah,
in New Hampshire.
we did not know this was going to last long because I know I was going to New Hampshire. So based on that, he wrote me a song, which I love.
Yeah, which was the idea that we had in the beginning was basically like, we kind of thought like, well, if this is going to end, that's fine. Let's just at least enjoy what we have for now.
And we did enjoy it, and we are still enjoying it. I'm so glad we did not like give up on the relationship, because I remember I went on a bachelor party to Miami, remember, with my friend Abby, and I told Abby about you, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be real short term because I'm gonna go off to school. And Abby was like, no, I don't even talk like that. You just don't say that. You can make it like work and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, maybe Abby's right. And I'm so glad like I didn't like give up on us. You didn't give up on us either. So.
Well, and I think at that time it was our senior year. We just finished. It's not like we had jobs holding us down.
No.
It was a big risk to go with you.
A huge risk, yeah.
But
so
we
in July, right after your birthday, actually.
Yeah.
We packed everything we had, my car, his truck, and we drove like 4 days all the way to New Hampshire.
So we basically used her car like a trailer. We packed all our stuff in her car and then put it on a dolly behind my truck, which is a small truck. And then we drove 4 days to New Hampshire.
4 days. And that trip was so brutal. I remember thinking, we're not going to make it through this trip. I mean, if you want to know if you're going to make it with any man, take a 4-day trip with them. And at the end of it, decide if you want to be with them or not. Because it was so brutal. Remember?
It was awful.
It was
awful. We had some awful fights.
Yes.
We had some We had a big fight about a bread maker. Our biggest fight that we'd ever had was about, because we were trying to stuff everything in the car, and a friend of mine had actually come over to help us load some stuff up, and the fight got so bad, he was like, well, I'm gonna go, and he just left. He went to Parrot's Head, the bar that was over by your house.
Because I had to have that bread maker.
Had to have the bread maker, and it was so big, and we had no room. I'm like, we can't do this. Like, we can't just take everything. Yeah, and then we took it to New Hampshire. And I never made bread. She never made bread one time, and then we had a big fight about the bread maker when we moved back.
It's in Ghana now, so
eventually it got sent to Ghana.
He made it somehow. Still not making bread in it, but
I hope someone's using it to make bread.
Hope someone is using it. I thank God that this happened because I had a vision, babe. and that we were gonna make it. And we were married with 2 beautiful boys. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and comment. And let us know if you have any questions or if there's any topics you want us to cover.